We waited. The first few times we'd come here, we placed our pennies on the rails and ran back down the embankment to hide in the shadows. But soon we discovered that in the evening, no one noticed us. With each venture back to the tracks, we stopped running when the train approached. In fact, we crept closer. What was it about being so close to danger that filled us with adrenaline? My brother had no idea. I was quite certain. With each successive trip, he became easier to manipulate. For a moment, it felt unfair, as if I had stepped into the role of bully, a role my brother had mastered. But I reminded myself not to confuse efficiency with simplicity. This felt easy only because of my diligence. It felt easy only because I had made it that way. The train's headlights came into view as it approached, first the top light, and soon after the two ditch lights. I crept closer to the rails. He was next to me to my right. I had to look past him to see the train's approach. He was aware of me, I could tell, because when I crept closer to the tracks, he matched my movements. He didn't want to miss out. He didn't want to allow me more bragging rights or a greater surge of adrenaline. He couldn't allow me to have anything that he could claim as his own. It was how he was. It was how all bullies were. The train was nearly upon us. "Your penny," I said. "What?" my brother asked. "Your penny, it's not in the right spot." He looked down, leaning slightly over the tracks. The roaring train barreled toward us. I took a step back and pushed him. It was over in an instant. He was there 1 second and gone the next. The train roared past, filling my ears with thunder and turning my vision into a blur of rusted colors. The train produced a current of air that pulled me a step or two to my left and sucked me forward, willing me to join my brother. I braced my feet in the gravel to resist the tug. When the last car passed, the invisible grip released me. I staggered backward. My vision returned, and quiet filled my ears. When I looked down at the tracks, the only thing left of my brother was his right shoe, strangely standing upright, as if he'd slipped it off his foot and laid it on the rails. I was careful to leave the shoe untouched. I picked up my penny, though. It was flat and thin and wide. I dropped it in my pocket and headed home to add it to my collection, and to tell my parents the terrible news. I closed the leather-bound journal. A long tassel hung from the bottom, keeping my place for the next time I read from it during a session. The room was dead quiet. "Are you shocked?" I finally asked. The woman across from me shook her head. Her demeanor had not changed during my confession. "Not at all." "Good. I came here for therapy, not judgment." I lifted the journal. "I'd like to tell you about the others." I waited. The woman stared at me. "There are more. I didn't stop with my brother." I paused again. The woman continued to stare at me. "Would you mind if I told you about the others?" She shook her head again. "Not at all." I nodded my head. "Excellent. Then I will." Westmont Preparatory High School, Friday, June 21st, 2019, 11:54 p.m. A fingernail moon floated in the midnight sky, its tarnished sheen intermittently visible through the foliage. The moon's erratic presence penetrated the interlocking tree branches with a pale glaze that painted the forest floor in the lacquered finish of a black and white film. Visibility came from the